Welcome everybody to Explore SDSU Fowler College of Business. We're so excited to have you here this morning with us. My name is Hema De Leon. I am the Director of Marketing Communications for the Fowler College of Business. I am also a proud SDSU alumni, so this is super exciting for me to do. Again, you are watching the Explore SDSU Fowler College of Business version. Looks like we still have a couple people participating and joining with us. So, all right, looks like the numbers slowed down a little bit. So again, my name is Hema De Leon. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications for Fowler, and we're excited to have you here today. So we're gonna take you through a presentation about Fowler College of Business. We have a lot of really great speakers here today with you. So just a couple logistics before we get started. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to follow us on our social media channel. Shameless plug as the marketing director. But this will give you a really good sense of what it's like to be a student here within the Fowler College of Business. We post a lot of articles and student spotlights. So again, I'd encourage you to follow us on these channels, get a little sneak peek inside look of what it's like to be a student, or as we like to call it, a part of the SDSU Fowler fam. So moving on, we'd like to have our interim dean, our interim Thomas and Evelyn Page dean, Dr. Bruce Reinig. He would like to give a really great brief welcome to you all here today. So looks like we've got a few more still joining, but Dean Reinig, if you want to get started.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hema, and good morning, everyone. As Hema said, I'm the interim Thomas and Evelyn Page Dean of the Fowler College of Business at San Diego State. I've been here 20 years and I love it here. I love San Diego State and our college. I was a faculty member here, a professor for 11 years, a department chair for 8 years, and I'm just finishing up my first year as interim dean. So I have a lot of experience with the college. And one of the things I want to do this morning is just give you an overview and give you an idea of who we are, our background, and what we have to offer you. So we've actually been AACSB accredited since 1959. That's over 60 years. We're the largest academic college at San Diego State. So SDSU has about 35,000 students, and we're well over 6,000 in our college. And with that size and longevity comes a very large alumni base, which we leverage. We actually have over 60,000 alums from the Fowler College worldwide. Over 30,000 live here in San Diego County. And with that size, we also have a lot of student organizations just within the Fowler College. So I always tell students when they come, make sure and join one of our 20 plus student orgs. And if there's something there, or if there's not something there that you like, start your own organization. So we're always having students do that. And we like students to join an organization outside the college as well and take advantage of everything there is on our campus. So we're very proud of the quality of our programs. Last October, U.S. News and World Report ranked our business school as a top 50 among public universities. And so we're very proud of that. We have a high quality education at a very affordable, competitive cost. And I think that's something that means a lot to us. Our programs are very highly ranked, particularly in entrepreneurship and international business, but we have good quality programs really across the entire college. And you'll hear about some of those majors in a little bit. We are named the Fowler College of Business. That's because Ron and Alexis Fowler made a gift in October 2016 of $25 million to support the college and provide resources for faculty and students to elevate the college. We're very grateful for that. And if you're wondering who Ron Fowler is, he is the co-owner and executive chairman of the San Diego Padres. So you can see just how closely we are tied in with the community here. One of the things I like to talk about is our great faculty. They're terrific in terms of both researchers and educators, and they engage our students in projects based in the real world. That's a real theme throughout the college. Just to give you some examples of that this morning, our MIS department has an artificial intelligence lab that conducts research with faculty and students for the United States Navy in their Port Hueneme location. We have a VITA program that stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program out of our accounting school. And our accounting students meet with clients, local refugees, and file taxes on their behalf with the IRS. And so they get a lot of great experience doing that. We offer hackathons and case competitions in every discipline throughout the college. We have a Women in Leadership Forum that happens every year, where we have guests from top companies like PepsiCo and Disney and the Padres, and then projects throughout the community. I think that's critical, that students are getting those hands-on skills and competencies that's going to help them get a job when they graduate. The other thing we do is all of our academic departments and the college and many of our centers have business advisory boards. So we have senior executives from businesses. Some are within San Diego County and some fly in. Often we have alumni who want to stay connected, but really help guide and build out our curriculum. So we know we're teaching the right material, the right software tools, the right skill sets to our students. So they're going to be prepared to enter the workforce successfully. Two other factors that I want to talk about briefly, and you'll hear more in detail in just a moment, but one is our advisors. We like to keep our students on track towards graduation. We want you to come out here, have a great time in San Diego, learn a lot, get a good job, and we want to make sure you graduate on time when you do that. And so we have a terrific, dedicated group of advisors to support you. The other item is career readiness. So it's so important that you have the career preparation skills, the job interview skills, the resume writing, how to approach someone on LinkedIn, all of those things. And we support that through our Career Management Center. So all students at SDSU have access to career services, but you as a Fowler student will also have access to the Fowler Career Management Center, and that gives dedicated support to business students. So that's a brief overview. You're about to hear more detail about some of these great services we provide. Thank you again for joining us this morning, and look forward to hearing your questions in a little bit. So back to you, Hema.
Great, thanks, Dean Reinig. One thing I failed to mention at the beginning, logistical, make sure you submit all of your questions through the Q&A tab. We have set aside time at the end to answer your questions live. So if there are any questions that you have throughout the presentation, please use that Q&A tab. We'll get to them here at the end and answer them live. So just make sure you are submitting those. So yes, Bruce mentioned career readiness. So it's my pleasure to introduce the director of the Career Management Center, and that's Beverly Brocker.
Thank you, Hema. Hello, everyone. As Hema said, I'm director of the Career Management Center for the Fowler College of Business, and I have been at SDSU for about 6 years now. Before that, I spent some time in law school career services. So I have come with a lot of years of working with students and helping them along their path. And I am proud to have a fantastic team of other career professionals within the Career Management Center. And all of us are really dedicated to helping our business students be successful. So let me tell you a little bit about the office and our resources. So whether you come to SDSU knowing exactly what you want to do with your career, or if you're kind of still unsure, not quite what you want to do, you're thinking about some options, exploring some things, either way, we really have the resources to help you develop and meet your career goals. One of the key components of that is really our one-on-one career advising services. So you can meet with one of our staff through a scheduled appointment or during our drop-in hours, which are held on a regular basis. And as part of those conversations, one thing that you may do is spend some time doing career assessment and really exploring and thinking about what you may want to do, what may be the best fit for you. And in addition to that, once you kind of have some idea of where you want to go, we will help you in your search for internships and positions and full-time positions along the way. So one of the platforms that we utilize to make sure that you have access on demand to all of those job and internship postings is the Handshake platform that we offer. So you can access that at any time and apply directly through that platform. In addition, through Handshake, You will find information about all of the upcoming career development workshops that we offer, and also the Career Services Office offers, alumni panels, how to search for an internship, networking, programming, mock interview programming, all of the kinds of things that we're doing to help prepare you. There is a detailed calendar of those events within Handshake that you can access at any time. And the goal is really to help you be as prepared as possible as you move out into your first internships and jobs. So the importance of internships is something that really cannot be overstated. We hear from our graduates regularly about how important their internship experience was to them figuring out what they wanted to do and feeling prepared to be successful once they graduate. So internships can help you explore your options, look at different roles, and figure out what you really want to do. They can also help you with skills building and really preparing yourself for eventual success upon graduation. And one of the things that I think is so important personally about internships is they help you develop those stories of how you developed your skills and stories about the things that you bring to the table when you're in an interview situation. We have a variety of different types of events and programs to help you connect with potential employers. There are many career fairs throughout the year, and in particular, there are 2 Fowler College of Business career fairs. We hold one each fall and each spring for you to connect with employers that way. Another invaluable tool and resource that you have at San Diego State is the ESSEC Mentor Program. A majority of the mentors are actually SDSU alumni, and they are eager to provide advice and mentoring and talk you through kind of what the typical day is like within their profession. And they're a great resource with questions that you may have. We know that students come to San Diego State and choose a business major because they're very career focused and they are really making a plan to come here and work on this major and get a job at the end. Because we know that that's really the focus of our business students, that was really one of the reasons that we created the Fowler Career Management Center, so that you would have a specialized premium resource exclusively for business students, where you can really get the particular advice and experience related to the kinds of career paths that you may want to pursue. So for example, we have extensive resources that are targeted specifically for business majors. We have specific resume samples for each major, cover letter, writing materials and guides, and sample interview questions dedicated to a variety of different business career paths, as well as targeted networking resources for the kinds of networking events that you may be attending as a business student. We have very strong relationships with our employers. You heard Dean Reinig talk about our board members. We have thousands of alumni who are dedicated to helping our students be successful. And the employers, particularly that the Fowler College of Business has these relationships with, really look to us as their source of talent. And our job in the Career Management Center is helping you connect with those employers and helping you to succeed by offering you all that you need to build your experience and your skills through internships, projects, and different experiential opportunities while you're a student, and to position you for a successful career upon graduation. I look forward to answering any questions that you may have at the end of the presentation. And now I'll turn things back over to Hema.
Thanks, Beverly. So yes, as mentioned, keep sending those questions in. We'll answer them at the end. And right now I'd like to transition over to our Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, Christy Dock.
Thanks, Hema. Hi, everybody. My name is Christy Dock. I'm the Assistant Dean here in the Fowler College of Business. I also serve as the Director of our Center for Student Success. And that's where all of our academic advisors are housed. So we have a team of dedicated academic advisors And in a little bit, you'll hear from one of our advisors, and Patricia will go into some more details about how advising works in the Fowler College of Business. I've been at San Diego State for nearly 17 years and in the Fowler College for about 5. I have the best job because I get to work with students and our advisors all day long. And today, what I'm hoping to do is to give you a little overview of the different majors that are offered in the Fowler College, and also talk to you about ways that you can really get connected and engaged on campus that can really enhance your time here at SDSU. So as Dean Reinig mentioned, we're really proud to be part of the Fowler College of Business. Our students identify with the Fowler College, but within the college, there's actually 5 different academic departments. So you'll see on the screen right now our different departments, but we have the Charles W. Lambden School of Accountancy, and we have departments in finance, management, management information systems, and marketing. And within those departments, we offer a variety of majors and minors, which are listed on the screen. We also have a general business major that we offer. So the way it works at SDSU is when you are admitted, you come in as a pre-major. So for those of you out there, you probably recognize one of these majors that you selected during the admissions process. So you're likely to be a pre-finance major, a pre-management, pre-marketing, for example. In your first couple of years, you're going to be taking what we call preparation for the major courses. All of our majors have the exact same set of preparation for the major courses. The only difference is accounting takes 8 of the 9 prep classes. That's the only difference. So I hear from a lot of students during the admissions process that they know they want a business degree, but they're not exactly sure which discipline in business they want to choose. So I just want to alleviate any stress that you might have, because you could come in, for example, as a pre-finance major and be unsure exactly what you want to do. You might know you want business, but are not totally convinced on finance. Those first couple of years, you take the prep courses that will count for all of the business majors. So if you decide at a later point that you want to change to a different discipline in business, that's completely fine, and all the classes that you've taken will apply towards the other business major that you take. So the first couple of years are really meant for you to explore the different disciplines within business, ask questions, work with your faculty, work with advisors to really narrow in, and hopefully by that 3rd year, your junior year, you know the direction that you want to go into. If you'll go to the next slide, Emma. This will give you an overview of our undergraduate enrollment here in the Fowler College. Dean Reinig mentioned we have about 6,000 students, and of those, over 5,700 are undergraduate students. So we are the largest college on campus. The pie chart will give you a little breakdown of our distribution of our majors. Right now, finance, marketing, and management are our largest majors, but our students are very much leaders on this campus. In fact, two of the last 3 years, our associated student body president have been Fowler College of Business graduates. So right now, the current student body president is a finance major. All right, what I want to do now is really talk to you about ways that you can get involved within the Fowler College of Business and at SDSU in general. We know it's so important for students to get connected at SDSU right away. And what I'd like to highlight are some activities that we call high-impact practices. High-impact practices typically are activities that occur outside of the classroom setting. Sometimes they do occur in the classroom, but most often they're outside of the classroom. But these are really important for you to participate in, because studies have shown that if students participate in at least 2 high-impact practices while they're in college, a couple really positive things happen. One, we see increased graduation rates, we see increased GPAs, we see students likely to come back year after year. Students report a higher satisfaction during their college experience. And these are also the activities that are going to likely set you apart when you're out there interviewing for jobs and entering into the workforce. A couple examples of high impact practices: study abroad, getting involved in student organizations, internships, learning communities. So I'm going to really highlight a couple of them. You already heard from Beverly about the importance of internships, so I'll cover the rest of them. The first one I'd like to talk about is getting involved in student organizations. So my typical advice for freshmen is that this is an easy way, your first year, first 2 years, to get involved by joining a student organization. There are over 200 student orgs across campus, so there is something for everybody. Some of these student orgs are cultural based, some could be more interest based, but a lot of them are academic or major related, and those are the ones I want to talk to you about right now. Within the Fowler College of Business, we have about 20 different business student organizations. So for every major, there's a student org that is related to that particular discipline. You can just go to the meetings. There are meetings every week. And I really encourage you to look into these student orgs for a couple reasons. One is I think it's a great way for you to start growing your personal network. So you'll be each week in a room of 20, 30 other students, probably in your same major, in your same classes, very similar interests. It's a good way just to make friends your first year while you're coming into San Diego State. But you're also able to grow that peer network. So you'll be, being introduced to people that could be juniors, seniors. They're going to go on and graduate and go in, and work for different corporations. These could be people that when you're getting ready to graduate, you can call on and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Is there somebody you can connect me with? Or how do you like working for that particular company? The other great thing about the student orgs is that almost every week they bring in speakers. They're professionals in that industry. So this is a good opportunity for you to connect with professionals in an industry that you think you might want to go into. They're going to talk to you about their journey. So what kind of education did they get? Do they have certifications, specialized trainings? What do they like about their job? What's the challenges of their job? They'll also talk about their company. So you'll get a really good sense for what's the company culture that you are interested in. Are you going to be okay in a large firm or large corporation? Or do you really want maybe a nonprofit or a family-owned business? You'll be able to sort of work through some of those things that you need to think about. So that's a couple reasons why student orgs are really good. I would also say, particularly in your first 2 years, if you're not really sure what major you want to go into, student orgs are a great place for you to go. So if you think, okay, I've heard about marketing, I don't really know what that means, but it sounds interesting, go to the American Marketing Association meetings for a couple weeks, talk to other students, hear from the speakers that they bring in, because again, you're going to get an introduction to that discipline, to that career path. It's going to help you really narrow in on what's the right major for you. The second high impact practice I want to touch on is freshman living and learning communities. So these are opt-in programs. This is something that you, as part of your housing application, you can select to be a part of. But how living and learning communities work is it ties in which residence hall you live in with the classroom. And you can choose different packages. So again, some are more activity-based. So you might have an interest in surfing and sustainability. There's a surfing and sustainability living community, but there's a lot of academic-based learning communities, and we have some specific ones in business. So we have a business learning community, and we also have one for students interested in entrepreneurship. So if you decide to join one of these learning communities, you'll be living on the same floor in the residence halls as other students in that same community. And then these are often tied to either 1, 2, or 3 courses. So you'll be taking the same couple of courses with the students that you're also living with. So it really connects your living and your classroom. So you're able to really connect with students, especially during your first year. The last thing I want to touch on is study abroad. So we know for our students as they enter into the workforce, it's very important that students have an understanding and appreciation of different cultures and have some basic knowledge about how business is conducted in countries outside of the US. So we really believe it's important for our students to have that cultural competency. Now, your instructors, your faculty, they are going to touch on some international issues in your class. But the best way to become globally competent is actually traveling and living in another country. And that's where study abroad comes into place. Now, I recognize we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, so study abroad is not, is not happening right now, but we will get to a place where you're able to study abroad again. And as an entering freshman, we have some time. So for most students, the best time to study abroad is the second semester, so spring of your third year. So we have a little bit of time for things, for travel to pick back up again before you're ready to study abroad. So study abroad can work in many different ways. So we have different programs. Some students decide for study abroad, they just want to go for a short period of time. So they might go for a summer session, or they might go on a faculty-led program where over spring break or winter break, an SDSU faculty will take a group of students to a particular country and complete one course. Many of our students, however, decide that they want to go for the whole semester. So in those cases, we have partner universities that we work with, and we have about 70 different partner universities all over the globe where you can go for the whole semester. And to help you in this process, we actually have a dedicated study abroad advisor, Welaine Cabal-Carr. So when you come to SDSU, as you're thinking about studying abroad, I would encourage you to meet with Welaine. Welaine can sit with you. She can help you decide what's the right program for your majors, because there are some universities that are better for particular majors. She can take into consideration your financial situation, so what's doable for each individual student. And then as you get a little bit closer and you're really ready to go abroad, she can actually work with you to make sure that you take the classes you take abroad, come back, and you get that whole full semester of credit and they transfer correctly back to SDSU. So I think at this point, I'll turn it back over to Hema, but again, please type in any questions you have in the Q&A and happy to answer anything at the end of the presentation.
Great, thanks, Christy. All right, so now we're going to get a little bit more into the Center for Student Success, and I'd like to welcome Patricia Van Dam, who's our Senior Lead Advisor within the Center for Student Success.
All right, thank you, Hema, so much. It is an absolute pleasure to be here this morning because I've been at San Diego State. This is my 20th year. And my background is I was born and raised in a family business. So being part of the Fowler College of Business is a natural thing for me. And my passion is to work with students, is to continue watching you progress, to see how your journey as an academic and to continue to a career, how are you going to do and how can I support that? So it is absolutely my pleasure to be here today. I want to touch base a little bit on how the structure is for our Center for Student Success. A few years ago, we were an advising center. So this was a place that students would come in, they would look at course requirements, we would help them with the sequencing of classes. But we realized over the years that students need a lot more than that. And as a business student, we have now a center. So what this does is creates a very holistic approach for the students. We are obviously still helping you with your courses, with all the academics involved, and planning your graduation, your class scheduling, but we want to be a hub. If you need support with math, if you are struggling with some quantitative courses, we have tutoring available. One of the beauties, again, of our center, we have dedicated advisors per major. So if you're a marketing student, we actually have 2 dedicated advisors that are going to walk you through the curriculum. They work so close with the faculty and the department chairs to make sure that we are up to par with the curriculum, with the courses that are being offered, any changes that are coming up, any new courses that are happening. We have finance advisors specifically. I am privileged to work with the information systems students, and also as the lead advisor, I work with all the advisors in all the majors. So absolutely a pleasure to be there. I want to touch base now on the coursework. So just giving you an idea, as you start as a freshman, we have some impaction criteria that students need to meet because, again, we have so many amazing students that want to be business students, but at the same time, we have to kind of funnel that a little bit. So you're going to become very high achievers. The 3 impaction criteria that we have, if you look on the screen, every student is going to take 2 accounting courses, so a financial and a managerial accounting. You're going to take economics, micro and macroeconomics, legal environment of business. You're going to take calculus. You will take statistics and business writing course. So as you see, this curriculum is really geared to preparing you. So I call it like a little quick tip on every discipline. as our assistant dean mentioned, you will get exposed to many different areas in business to help you decide, moving forward, do you want to focus in accounting? Do you want to focus in marketing or MIS? A couple of things to point out, and again, one reason why we are here dedicated for you, because some of these courses go in order. So we will be helping you with this sequence to make sure that you are on track. So if you look at the accounting 201 and 202, these go in order. So you take 201 first and then accounting 202. Some of these courses for you high school students that had advanced placement exams and you scored a 3 or higher, you are able to come in with some credit towards these classes. And those are indicated on the screen with that red plus sign. So both economics, macro and micro, your math 120, which is your calculus. And the same thing for the statistics. If you have AP exams, you are able to come in with these courses completed and have credit. A lot of the students, as we've seen from experience, they struggle a little bit with the quantitative courses. So as you're taking statistics, we're going to recommend sometimes that you take the tutorial class that goes along with it. I'm going to keep emphasizing the reason why we have so many advisors and we want you to come in, because these courses, again, they're going to continue being tough, but that's the plan, right? Business is an amazing career and we want to make sure that you're prepared. So looking at this next screen, we kind of set up a path for you, and you will see on your web portal, you actually have access to maps, which we call their major academic plans. We have set up a plan for you for the 4 years that you're going to be there, but I'm going to touch upon the first 2 years. So we want you to take a mix of business courses and some general education classes because, again, to balance out your schedule. If you maintain about 15 units per semester, you will be able to end your second year with those 60 units that are necessary for you to continue. So if you look at the screen, we will pair up statistics with macroeconomics for your first semester, some GE courses, and then moving forward, so let's say next spring, you will do calculus, your information systems, and then so on and so forth. So this is a map, which means if you follow this, you will be able to be on track. But obviously, every student is unique. And again, come to our office and we will be able to set what path is better for you. Keep in mind that all these preparation for the major courses, you have to take those with us here better, which I'm sure for you high achieving high schoolers out there, it's not going to be a problem. At the end of your first 2 years, we also want to make sure that your GPA is cumulative at a 2.9. So that is a little bit shy of a B. And that is, again, is the third criteria for you to be able to go upper division in your major, which is your goal, right? So as I mentioned, we are a Center for Student Success. So going beyond the academics, you will have tutoring available. We will connect you with the writing center, with the math center, which those are part of the library. Looking at the screen, if you go towards your left and you go all the way down, that's where our building is housed. The other thing I wanted to bring up is obviously this is a huge campus, but within our Fowler College, it's a small community. And students are forming study groups. They are looking at each other for help, for support. And one of the biggest support that you're going to get is our faculty. They are there teaching for our students because they absolutely love this. They love to see the students succeed. Again, you're just not another number in the classroom where they're assigning you a grade. They are involved. They are there to make sure that you are just not getting a grade, but learning the content and helping you and supporting you to continue growing. At the end of your period at San Diego State and beyond, you're going to want recommendation letters. You're going to come to us as an advisor. I have so many students that now are applying to graduate school. They are applying for jobs and they come to me, Patricia, can you write me a recommendation letter? And if I have never seen them in my office, it's going to be really hard to testify to their greatness. So same thing for the professors. You want to reach out to their office hours. You want to get that connection. So they're going to become allies for you. Absolutely. Make sure that you continue submitting your questions and we are happy to answer. So Hannah, back to you.
All right, thank you, Patricia. So we've now entered into the Q&A section. So I see a few have already been submitted, but please continue to do that. And while you're doing that, I'd like to introduce Sarah Mercado, who will be the Q&A moderator, and she's one of our accounting advisors in the Center for Student Success.
Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be joining you. I've been frantically trying to answer your questions as they come in. So you guys are asking a lot of really, really great questions. Excuse me. Some of them I've been able to answer, but I think some of them would be really good to be shared with the group as a whole. So I'm going to start us off with a career question. I have a question here asking, what are some of the companies that SDSU business majors have interned at? And I'd like Beverly to answer that for us.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. So our students actually intern at a wide range of companies locally here in San Diego, as well as around the country. So it will certainly vary depending upon what your major and area of interest is. And one thing I would like to point you to is the Career Management Center portion of the College of Business website, because we do have a list there of some of the companies where students have recently gotten jobs after graduation. But specifically, some of the ones that students have worked at recently include Qualcomm, Illumina, Sony, and Amazon, and large companies like that. And we also have a lot of students at SDSU with a strong interest in smaller companies and startups. And one area of getting experience with startups is our Levin Entrepreneurship Center. They offer a lot of internships with smaller San Diego startups. And I would also definitely like to reference you to that portion of the website, which has a pretty good list. I'm not sure if maybe Hema will be able to throw up that link for us during, as we progress today. But really a wide range of companies all over the place, all across the board. And that's really dependent upon your areas of interest, what's going to be the best options for you.
Thank you, Beverly. That was a great response to help our students find some resources. I have another question here that I'm thinking maybe Christy will answer. But the question is, do you suggest that we live in a residential learning community for business? So maybe Christy, you can talk about that.
Sure. I would highly recommend it if you're able to. And every student is different in what their needs are. So whether it's a business learning community or one of the other learning communities, particularly if you're coming from out of state. So you may or may not know other students. So it's going to be really important for you to really connect to SDSU and to connect with a few other students during this first semester. So I think the learning communities are a good way to do that, because again, you're going to be living with a group of students that will also follow you into a couple of classes together. So I've seen these students, they leave the dorm and then they go right to class together. So I think it's a good way this first semester for you to get connected with other students, as well as bring that connection into the classroom. So for a lot of students, a learning community makes sense. If you don't want to do a learning community, there are other ways to connect with students. For example, like a student organization is a natural first step. But I would really encourage you to get on the housing website. They have descriptions of all of the different learning communities that you can get involved in. If you do choose the business or entrepreneurship learning community, it does come with enrollment in a 1-unit seminar class in the fall called BA 100, Explorations of Business. And that's a really good class because, again, you're going to learn a lot about business, the different majors. You'll get connected with academic advisors that come into the class. We'll talk a lot about ways to get involved on campus. Beverly and her team come into that class. So that would be one advantage of doing a business community, is that BA 100 course.
Thank you, Christy. So our next question, I'm going to ask Patricia to answer this. So the question is, if I was accepted as undecided, can I enter the business school, or is there a process that I would need to go through?
Absolutely. So we want to encourage students to become business majors. I mean, that is part of what I believe. we will encourage you to come to our office. We're going to look at the units and the GPA that you have. And again, because we are an impacted major and your GPA to continue going up for division, it has to be a 2.9. We want to make sure that we're setting you up to succeed. So it's absolutely important and necessary that you come see us to switch your major. As you're coming in as a freshman, for the first couple of weeks, you will continue with the choice that you had coming in, as we call, maybe you were undeclared, so you did not pick a specific major. And then after that, you can absolutely come to our office, and it's part of what I love to do is explore with the students. We're going to pick your brain on which direction do you want to go career-wise, and if you don't know, again, that's totally fine. We will get you switched over. Again, just taking a look at how many units you have taken, and we'll look at the GPA at that point. And if you don't have it, absolutely, it's okay. We're going to help you change. So that's the answer is yes, you can.
Thank you, Patricia. So I have another question for Christy here. Do you have to be part of the major, of that specific major, to join the organization?
Good question. For 99% of the student orgs, no, you do not have to be. There are a couple that are major related and they're honors. They have certain GPAs and certain majors, but the vast majority of our student orgs are open for all majors. So in our business student organizations, the majority are business majors, but we do get some students from non-business majors. But again, there are a lot of student orgs that are not academically related. You know, you might have a really strong interest in sustainability or a cultural group, and those will be all majors across campus. The other thing to note is you don't have to actually join the student organization to attend the meetings. So this first semester, you could go to several different student orgs, sort of see, you know, what resonates with you. Where do you feel that connection before you really settle in on, okay, this is the group that I want to spend time on. One thing I failed to mention that I wanted to with the student orgs is this is a good chance for you to develop leadership roles. So for a lot of students, the first year or two, they might just go to the meetings or just a general member. And then maybe years 3 and 4, all of a sudden you decide, I want to run for an executive position. All the student orgs have executive positions. And so this would be, again, a really tangible thing that you could bring to an interview. If you were, for example, the president of the Student Accounting Society, in that interview, you could really talk about your leadership style. You could talk about how you got your exec team and your members to a particular goal, or that you oversaw a budget of $15,000, whatever the case is. So when I talk about these experiences being able to set you apart, that's what I'm getting at, is if you really are very intentional and strategic, and you really pay attention to how am I going to translate this experience into a job interview, these experiences become so valuable for you during your time at SDSU.
Thank you, Christy. I have another one for Beverly. And Beverly, I'm actually going to ask you to kind of talk more generally about this. The specific question is, does SDSU have internship opportunities with companies in LA and Orange County? But we've also had a few questions about students wanting to perhaps pursue a job or internship on the East Coast as well. So maybe you could address that.
Sure, absolutely. So we definitely have students who do internships all over the place. And it's actually, I think, potentially going to be a good benefit of the current situation that we're all facing. We're working with our students right now on pursuing different opportunities for remote and virtual internships with companies that are really actually all over the world at this point. So I'm expecting that even when things get back to a more of a normal situation, we'll still have students be able to take advantage of some of the things that we've learned about pursuing remote and virtual options. And back to the question about ending up maybe on the East Coast or other parts of the US after graduation, that's definitely something that we see happen, and it really can depend on a few different things. So some students like to go back where they're from or have a specific area in mind. But additionally, based on certain career paths, there are areas of the country and certain cities that are really more of a hub for that type of work. As an example, maybe investment banking, probably New York, Chicago, other cities like that are going to be places that really make sense for that particular type of career path. And we work with students really on pursuing whatever it is that's their long-term goal. So if there's a specific type of role and industry that you're looking at, we're going to work with you to see where are the best opportunities for you to land upon graduation. And we have companies that work with us who are located all over the US, so there aren't any real limitations there. And additionally, we have such a strong network of SDSU alumni all over the country who really, really love helping. They love giving advice. They love getting students connected, and they'll often reach out to us with opportunities in other cities. So there are a lot of different options there, and I think San Diego is an awesome place, and we all enjoy being here. But for your career path, sometimes there's a different city that's really the one that makes the most sense, either for you personally or for professionally, based on the kind of work that you're hoping to do. Did I answer all the parts of that question?
I think you did that in some, so thank you very much for that. I actually have a question for Dr. Reining. We're going to test his knowledge of numbers within the college. One of our students is asking, what is the general student-to-faculty ratio in the Fowler College of Business?
Well, that's a great question. I think in terms of total faculty, I think we're around maybe 160, maybe 170. And we have 6,000 students. So just doing some quick math there, what would that be? 6,000 divided by 170. That's the ratio. So whatever that works out to be, I don't want to try and guess here.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Reinig. I think you answered that perfectly. So this question's for Patricia. Patricia, a student's asking, what major does the entrepreneurship program fall under?
Yes, definitely. So entrepreneurship falls under management. So you have two specializations that you can choose. It's entrepreneurship and human resources management. And again, it falls under management because if you think about becoming an entrepreneur, to me, entrepreneurship is a mindset. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to start your own business, bring either products or services, but it's having the mentality as a manager that everything is your job, that you're going to build a team, you're going to continue growing career-wise, and nobody's going to graduate and become CEO right away. There is that path. So entrepreneurship definitely under management, and we will encourage you to join our 11 Entrepreneurship Center. So again, you can explore more of what that means for you.
Thank you, Patricia. Patricia, I'm going to make you work a little bit harder here.
Right on.
We've gotten quite a few questions about whether the business program is impacted. And I know you spoke to that, but maybe you could just kind of restate that a couple times so students really understand what it means to join.
So what impaction criteria means is that we have more students that want to become business majors then we have basically room to accommodate. So we create a little bit of that funnel because again, we want our business students to be very successful and to get amazing careers and jobs. So what that means, we set up these, what we call impaction criteria, to make sure that as you move into your last 2 years, which is where you're going to be deeper into your knowledge, that you are able to continue to be successful. So all your courses combined, which is if you taking courses, throughout your time here, if you maybe got a community college class or all the courses you've taken at San Diego State, is going to count as we call your cumulative GPA. So that at the end of the 2 years, that has to be at least a 2.9. The other, there are 3 of them. So definitely 60 units. And the last one is all these business courses that I mentioned at the beginning. Every single one of those has to be done with a C or better. So if you think a C is a 2.0, so if you do the bare minimum on these courses, you're not going to hit that 2.9. So we are going to encourage you to do better than the C on these, but that is the minimum. So again, come to our office so we can calculate your GPA every time you come in and make sure that you are on track. if you have taken a course that you did not do so well and you got sometimes less than a C on those business courses, it's not going to be the end of the world. We will walk you through how to repeat the course, do some course forgiveness. So that's the long answer to the impaction criteria, but it is a very important part of being a business student.
Thank you, Patricia. Absolutely. So I just want to give a little shout out to user Arawo. He went ahead and did the math. 6,000 divided by 170 equals 35.2. So thank you for that. And then I have a question here. I'm going to ask Christy this one. The question is, how easy is it to get into classes within the Fowler College of Business?
A good question. I know a lot of students have that question that I run into. So I would say that's why our advisors are here. So we work really, really hard as a college to make sure that we are offering classes every single semester, because the last thing we want to do is hold up a student on graduation because a particular course is not offered or you couldn't get into the course. So I would say I really don't run into students anymore that just couldn't get a course. Now, sometimes we do require students to be flexible. So you might not get every single course, every single day and time of the week with the absolute instructor that you want every single semester. So I think if you work with us a little bit, we'll work with you. But again, our goal, if you want to graduate in 4 years, that is our goal too. And we are going to work really hard to make sure that happens. And that's the other reason why you have a specific academic advisor. So on the off chance you are running into some scheduling issues, you need to connect with that advisor right away, because that will be somebody one-on-one that you'll be able to work through those issues with.
Thank you, Christy. I know we're getting close on time here, but we do want to try to answer as many questions as we can. Keep in mind, we're still here for you after the presentation, so don't feel like if we don't get to your question today, we're not here to help you. Here's a great question, though, that I think everybody would benefit from hearing. And let's direct this over to Christy again. Sorry about that, Christy. But how do you prepare students for graduate school here in the Fowler College of Business?
So that's also a really good question. So we have a dedicated graduate business programs office. It's actually right where the undergraduate office is. So I would say one thing we could do is easily connect you with staff in that office, because they could really walk you through what are the requirements to get into graduate school. So you know ahead of time, okay, this is the type of GPA I need to get, or I know I need to take my GMAT or GRE score, and these are the deadlines. You could also work with your faculty. They're great resources for you to really get a feel for what kind of programs are out there, what classes would help me become a more competitive candidate for graduate school. And I think what you'll find with most graduate business programs is that universities really do encourage students to go work for a couple of years. So I think that work experience is really important. It makes your graduate degree a little bit more valuable, because when you come back into the classroom, you have some real world experience. When you need to participate in class, you have some things that you can contribute right away, and that information you can take back and apply in your workplace right then and there. So again, I think for graduate school, ask questions. It's not ever too early to start thinking about it. And one thing I would really suggest is pay attention to your undergraduate GPA. So that is the one thing you can't fix when you go to apply for graduate schools. You could always retake the GRE or GMAT. You could always improve your personal statement or go get more work experience. But that undergrad GPA is going to follow you wherever you go. So right away when you get here, just really concentrate on that GPA, because then when you go to apply for graduate schools, you're going to have more options. And that's what we want. That's the best case scenario.
Thank you, Christy. I'm going to finish up with one last question. If it's okay with everybody, I'll just go ahead and answer this, because I have been dealing with this all week long as an advisor. So it's students asking, entering as a freshman, I'd like to change my major from journalism, advertising to marketing. How do I go about this with campus being closed and not being able to visit the business department? I want everybody out there to know that the advisors, staff, faculty within the Fowler College of Business are still very much there for you. I've been working all week long trying to get back to all these types of inquiries. So you just got to email us these days or go to our website, find our contact information. Some of that contact information is actually up on the screen, but just reach out in an alternative fashion and we are definitely here to help you out. So don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions. In the case of this specific one, you'll be able to change your major closer to at pretty much the mid of the fall semester. So nothing for you to do right now, don't worry. But if you're worried, concerned, please do reach out to myself and the other advisors. Okay, Gemma, I'm gonna send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. And as she mentioned, we're all still here working and here to help you. We'd love to answer additional questions. I know we didn't get to all of them, but on the screen, you'll see obviously our main website, business.sdsu.edu. Navigate through there, /FCSS will get you to the advisors. So Sarah, Patricia, Christy, who you just heard speak, make sure that you check in on that page and you can find direct email addresses, or you can just email this bizinfo@sdsu.edu and that'll get to the advisors as well. Let's see, Beverly mentioned the career management page. So if you all just go to business.sdsu.edu/career, then that will send you to her page and you can contact career advisors in there. So at this time, take a screenshot, take a photo on your phone of this information so that you have it. I'm going to turn it back to Dean Reinig to see if he has any parting words for our group.
Thank you, Hema, and thank you all for joining us today. I think this was just great. You get a sense of all the services the Fowler College provides our students. I do want to put in a pitch for those of you who ask questions about entrepreneurship. At 11 o'clock, our 11 Entrepreneurship Center is going to have a session here at Virtual Explore SDSU. And then finally, I just wanted to say if there's any question that didn't get answered, or maybe after sitting through this presentation today, a question comes to mind, please do not hesitate to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. So, and if there's any feedback you'd like to give us on our presentation today, please let us know. And finally, thanks to all of our great presenters and staff here in the Fowler College. I appreciate your time this Saturday and all the preparation you put into serving our students and our prospective students. So have a great day, everyone. And thanks again.